What up?
I thought there was a symbol at the end of that.
No, there should be.
There should be.
There should be a symbol at the end of that.
Welcome to episode number 2 of The Tube.
The Tube. Just being raw.
Yeah, we got some more decorations already.
We're keeping it real. This was the Fat Man in a Little Coat skit that we reenacted.
Yeah, and it worked.
God rest his soul, Chris Farley.
Yeah, and it worked.
It worked. I put on the coat and I went to put down my arms and that thing ripped.
Yeah, that was cool.
That was cool.
We were trying to make some videos so we could just, show the vibes.
One
thing led to the next. Yeah, episode number 2 here. First one went good, and it's going to be really interesting because we're not recording, then posting, then recording, then we're posting. We're actually loading a few in the chamber here.
Right.
And so nobody's actually even seen us do anything yet, and we're just going to do it again.
Right. So we're kind of missing that content of your guys' feedback. But keep giving it, because when it's time to produce these videos, we'll watch that feedback that you guys give us in those comments and stuff, and then we'll incorporate that into new videos.
Yeah, so we're going to have like 3 or 4 videos that are going to be coming out probably that we're not going to have any feedback on.
Right.
So be patient, keep following.
Yeah.
The first one is good, and we had a lot of fun and got pretty deep and had some funny moments, and
yeah,
got a pretty good direction going from the first one. So.
Yeah, we're flowing.
We're flowing, man.
So what'd you do in the shop today?
What'd I do in the shop?
What was happening here today?
There's actually a lot happening today. I had a lot of customers coming in and out, a lot of good interactions, met a lot of cool people today. Actually, a significant amount of people. There was actually one point, there was 9 vehicles in the parking lot.
Wow.
And I'm just like, I need a bigger parking lot.
You do need a bigger parking lot.
It's like, dude, that's a weird problem to have.
It is.
Sometimes I'm like going to the bathroom, I'm like, I definitely need a bigger, but I never think about a bigger parking lot.
Right.
It's like, fuck, that's a new level, dude.
That's a new level. So you said some new customers? Was it just so people...
There's a really cool event that's going to be going on, and I didn't get the exact dates, but it's up in Manitowish Waters north of us, and what they're doing is a big fundraiser for combating Eurasian water milfoil. We could touch on that for a minute. I don't know if you're familiar with Eurasian water milfoil.
Not a ton. I'd like to
So
hear.
it's an invasive weed that grows in the lake, and the only way it gets into the lake is, if my facts are off, anybody can correct me.
Yeah.
But from what I am aware of, the only way that it can come into a lake is being attached to a boat, being transplanted into the lake, and then it's an invasive species, so it grows like a forest underwater. And it's this thick weed, and really the negative to it is obviously it's an invasive species, but it's choking everything out in the ecosystem, so they have to combat that. And it happened on the local chain here. My family has a home on the lake here, and I know 10 years ago they were, and I think they've gotten much more under control now. They use specialized boats and divers, and they actually go down and pull it.
Wow. So it's that big of a problem.
Yeah. I mean, it takes over now.
Wow.
So, and it'll keep spreading, and if it's not taken care of, it will, I gotta just do a little adjusting here. It will be a real issue. So, anyways, yeah, really cool people. Got a bunch of trucks in here now, and yeah, how was your day? What'd you do today?
I did some estimates. Ran around. I'm also part of another podcast called The Update.
Yep.
It's actually not really a podcast. It's just kind of a local...
It's not as worldwide as this.
Yeah, no, right, exactly. No, it's more of a local promotional thing. So they're typically 6 to 12 minutes, and it's just a promotional video, kind of let tourists know and locals know what's going on in the community. And then we promote local businesses as well. So it's fun. We actually just officially made a Facebook page. That was getting, 12,000 views average per video. So which is big for up here.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that's what I did today.
Yeah.
We filmed one of those.
Austin's line of work is a little bit seasonal, so he's slower this time of year, but we're really, really approaching that busy time.
Yeah, we're approaching crunch time. The schedule's filling up fast. Yeah, I'm a little louder again now than you.
I know, it's so weird. We must have a ghost in here.
There is a ghost.
Wouldn't that be incredible, honestly? Dude, there's a lot of... Wisconsin is has a lot of haunted
They do.
history.
They do.
It's like really interesting, actually, and I'm sure every state and whatever does. But and we live in Wisconsin, but you hear about these things. It's like, what?
Right. I
There's
wonder.
Go
Go
ahead.
ahead. No, I was gonna say I wonder if it has to do with all the drinking.
Oh yeah, yeah, dude. Yeah, but there's a restaurant right across the highway over here. It's like known for being haunted. Edgar the Ghost.
No shit.
Norwood Pines Supper Club.
Really?
Yeah, it's haunted.
We have, that's a really good topic because we actually have a lot of history up here in general. Speaking of like Chris Farley, like
Yeah,
Chris Farley summered up here.
Yeah,
in like
and-
Manitowish Waters area.
Yep. And then the whole the gangster.
Yep. Was it Al Capone?
I think so. I believe so. At
Yeah.
the Little Bohemia.
Yeah.
That was like the.
Yep.
There was another Jim Carrey, apparently
Really?
somewhere around here, has a bunch of land. Yeah.
I wouldn't put it. I mean, who doesn't want to be
Post
up
Malone
here?
was actually here in Minocqua like 3 or 4 summers ago.
Shut up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Posty?
And Justin Bieber. Yeah.
You know what? Hey, I got nothing but love for Justin Bieber and Post Malone.
I got nothing but love for Post Malone. I'll tell you that right now.
Dude, I love Justin Bieber too.
Yeah, he's not bad.
I do.
I don't even think he's on my playlist once, but I give the guy credit.
I got some of his like remixes, like dubstep remixes
Oof.
that he did, and they're clean, dude. He's got a clean voice. He's just, he was just a kid when he came into all this. Like
Yeah.
I've watched some like short documentaries on it. Like it's kind of sad what happened to him.
Yeah.
I mean, like he had a brilliant voice and obviously a good-looking young man, and he was put through it. And then I think addiction got a hold of him a little bit. I mean, I don't know what I would have done at his age with that kind of money,
Well,
right?
like Zach and Cody, remember
Yeah.
that show? And there was anybody involved with like Disney when they were really young and stuff. There's a lot of screwed up stuff.
There's a lot of screwed
But
up
imagine
stuff.
like stardom at that age, and then like
Right.
you don't even know how to live your life not like that.
Right, they're just cutting this kid checks for
Yeah.
millions of dollars.
And I'll take it. But like,
Yeah, but it's like, what do you do?
Yeah.
Like, so Post Malone was here.
apparently,
No shit.
allegedly,
No shit. I
Yeah.
love Posty, dude. When White Iverson came out, dude, that just gripped the nation. I mean, White Iverson was the freshest song I had ever heard in my life. Frickin' Posty, dude. I'm pretty sure he just moved out west with nothing, like
Yeah,
to LA
yeah,
or something,
yeah. Mhm.
and made that beat.
Yeah.
Dropped White Iverson, put it on SoundCloud,
Yeah.
or one of those like
No, so the story goes is that he made White Iverson and all of his friends, people were like, don't put it out, don't put it out.
yeah,
It's
and
not-
he just said,
and he said,
"Fuck
F it, I'm doing it. And then Mac Miller, Wiz Khalifa
started FaceTiming it,
yeah, retweeting it, all this and like
and that was it.
that was it. And like people say he's an industry plant. People were saying he's a one-hit wonder, all this stuff.
Yeah,
and it's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
And then hit after hit after hit after hit after album, entire albums being hits. It's like, yeah, no.
And then genre crossing.
If it
like-
wasn't White Iverson that would have blown him up, it would have been the next thing.
yeah,
It was a matter of time.
yeah,
Because he's
yeah.
so talented.
Yeah, he is.
And like his numbers are absolutely astounding. I mean, I think he's one of the only, well, his song Sunflower with Sway Lee is the most certified song of all time.
What does that mean?
So when like RIA certification back in the day used to be based on hard copy album sales. Now they
Okay.
quantify album sales based on streams. So I think it's like 100 streams equals an album sale or something.
Okay.
But it is so there's like gold certification, which is like, say 100,000 copies sold, and then there's, platinum, and then there's diamond.
Okay.
So diamond's like, say, 1 million copies sold. I don't know the exact figures.
Sure.
But so diamond is the highest certification. This song is 10 times diamond. So yeah. And he's got like he released a whole album recently that is called the Diamond Collection, and it's all of his songs that are diamond.
Wow.
So it's like 8 or 9 songs on this album that are all diamond songs. But yeah, Post Malone's a freaking incredible human, and we're not gonna like probably get as deep today as we could get, and over time we're probably gonna get pretty deep about
Yeah,
Post
we'll
Malone, 'cause I'm
definitely
like a
talk
big
more about
fan.
him.
A lot of inspiration there, and just great music.
Yeah, and I'm
I've
pretty
seen-
sure I saw him on stage at like the Grand Ole Opry, like kicking back some like classic country songs too, dude. And he pulls that off.
Dude, yeah, everything he pulls
Yeah,
everything off.
he's a good dude.
I've seen him live 7 different times.
Wow.
Yeah, I think I was in the VIP like 4 of them. Like, yeah, I got videos like high fiving him and shit.
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Oh, so you got like a little stardom going on, like a little.
So he did when quarantine happened. We were talking about quarantine on the last episode.
Yeah.
He did a Nirvana tribute because he's a big Nirvana fan,
Okay.
and he covered Nirvana songs. It was like an hour-long Nirvana tribute, and like he was trying to raise money for something, but it was like right when quarantine started, so it was like a really cool thing to do because everybody's sitting in their house. And they're like,
Sure.
Travis Barker, the drummer for Blink-182,
Yep.
played the drums for this Nirvana set.
Wow.
It was really cool. And Kurt Cobain was the lead singer of Nirvana, right?
Right.
So he died. He part of the 27 Club. And but he used to wear this floral dress. It was like a gown. He might only wore it a couple times, but it was like a grandma gown that was just floral.
Okay.
So for this live stream, Post Malone wore this floral dress
Oh,
that
wow.
resembled what Kurt Cobain was wearing. And a lot of people, critics and everything were like, what is he doing? Why is he wearing this? Blah, blah, blah. But like once you unraveled the story, that was why he was doing it, because he was honoring Kurt Cobain. Well, like a couple months later, the dress went up for auction. He signed it, went up for auction, whatever. So I now own the dress.
You own it?
Yeah. And I had it professionally like framed and stuff.
Can
It's
we
like,
ask what you paid for it?
I got 8,800.
8,800. Okay.
Yeah, and I think I got $2,000 into framing it,
Okay.
having it framed. But we'll pop a picture on here maybe of it.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So that's like one of the only things he has really ever gotten rid of that was like personally his. He's got a lot of limited edition stuff too. Like he's done a lot of collaborations with Crocs.
Okay.
The shoes.
Yeah. You love.
And like the
Crocs.
first run of Crocs he did was like limited to like 1,000, so they sold out immediately. But I have a whole collection of Post Malone stuff. I have all the Crocs, and like I have a bunch of graded. He had a Topps like baseball card that his face is on,
Really?
and stuff, and very limited like stuff. So yeah, I'm a big fan of Post Malone, and it grew from like early on in his career. I saw him right after he dropped Rockstar, the song Rockstar, and he was like really blowing up then.
Yeah.
And I saw him at the Marathon Music Works in Nashville. It was like 2,000 people maybe there. And like now I've seen him sell out stadiums and like 50,000 people like screaming his name. It's like, what the hell, dude? I can't even imagine, But
Oh my gosh. So shout out Post Malone.
Yeah,
Like,
and
come and get on our
yeah,
podcast.
that'd be cool as shit. I've had a lot of people just be like, say to me over time, it seems like you're obsessed with this guy or whatever. And it's like, I've just taken an incredible amount of inspiration from him. I've taken the things he's speaking and like the life he speaks. He's like really humble, and you just hear him talk in interviews, and like he's just like down to earth. Like he's no different than you and I.
That's what I was gonna ask you. Like, do you feel like you have him on a pedestal, or do you just? So yeah. So it's like
if I ran into him, I people would be like, oh my god, Post Malone. Like I would be like, it's nice to finally meet you.
Right.
Because like I feel like I already know you.
Right.
Not in a creepy way. I've just like followed your career.
Right.
Like I know about what you've done. I don't know anything about your personal life, but
Right.
I've seen what you're doing. And like if I ever ran into him, I would want to meet Austen, which is his name, the guy behind Post Malone. Like I already
Post
know.
Malone's name is Austen.
Yeah. Like I already know who Post Malone is.
That's why you had me on the podcast.
Exactly. Like I already know who Post Malone is. I want to know who's behind that creative, because
Sure.
I'm creative.
Yeah.
And I know who I am at home, and I know who I am here.
Right.
And this would technically be my stage, I guess.
Right. Yeah.
People know me
Absolutely.
for what I do. But I want to know what's behind that.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, how do you get to that? How do you get to your ideas? What's your creative process? Like all
Right.
that stuff. That's just cool to me. But like, what do you do for like? He's into trucks and all this shit. It's like, what do you do for fun?
Right.
Like I would not fangirl it up. I'd
Yeah.
be
Remember
like,
that Blade? Didn't he have that blazer redone.
Yeah, the Lamb with
Like
the Lambo
right
doors,
away.
yeah.
Like
So
that
now,
was one of his first
yeah.
big purchases was that blazer. That blazer was sick.
Yeah, I bought it for like $2,000, and then West Coast Customs did like a
Yeah,
hundred and
yeah.
some $1,000 restore on it with
Yeah,
Lambo
yeah.
doors and everything.
Yep.
But anyways, we're getting off. Let's land that plane. Maybe we'll talk about Post Malone
That's a
again
good. I
someday.
didn't know his name was Austin.
Yeah.
What's his last name?
Post.
Oh, his name is Austin Post.
Yeah. So he got it. He put Austin Post into a rap name generator, and Post Malone came out was the first. That's how he got his name.
Dude, legendary.
Yeah. So
Legendary. You play guitar.
I do play guitar. I was actually shredding the other night, and I meant to load it all up in my truck, and I forgot.
I've never seen you shred.
I'm not that good.
Come on.
I'm not. That
Everyone says. Literally, I bet you Post Malone says I'm not that good at
I know.
guitar.
I played every day. I played guitar every day for 5 years straight. I didn't miss a single day, and then I got really wrapped up in my career. And like yesterday was like the first day I played in a few months. You know, so you lose your grip. You know, it's like riding a bike, but you're not as quick. You know, as smooth. You lose if you don't keep up on it. You lose it quick.
Okay. But I feel like you would pick it up quick again.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
right.
if you started playing,
right.
you would pick it up quick. Were you ever in a band?
I was not.
Okay.
I would kill to still be in a band. So if anybody wants to start a band, let's do it.
Let's do it.
I'll be the drummer though. I won't be the guitarist because
You're a better drummer?
I'm a better drummer than I am a guitar.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if any bands out there, if Posty's looking for a drummer,
yeah, call me.
I mean, don't take my podcast guy, but I guess you can take my podcast guy.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
you're going on tour with Posty.
Yeah. Drumming, yeah, I could. I mean, you could.
Do you have a setup in your house right now?
Of drums?
Yeah.
No, just guitars right now.
So, hold on.
But you could set up a drum set right now and have an entire band besides the drummer, and I could play along all night if they were playing songs I didn't even know.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it
so
would
you were
sound-
being modest with the guitar, but you're not being modest with the drums. You
Absolutely
can kill
not.
the drums.
Yes.
It's really funny you say that. In college, I had a weed dealer, and in his
Everybody's got
a weed dealer. Yeah,
on speed. Everybody's got a dealer on speed dial.
yeah.
That's how
I live in an abstinence-based program today, so I don't do any
Yep.
mind, mood altering substances. But in college, I had a weed dealer, and in his basement, he had a drum set, and he would let me during the day. I bought enough weed for.
Yeah, you could try my drum set, buddy.
Yeah. No, so he would let me come over and I would sit in his basement and I would just drum for hours. Honest to God. And then I'm going to bring that oil painting next time. I'm going to bring you an oil painting I did of me smoking a joint playing the drums.
Does it resemble you?
Yeah. No, wait till you see it.
Oh, I can't wait. We got space.
Yeah. We'll put it up.
Well,
but yeah,
let's do it.
dude, he was cool. He was super chill, dude. You would never even know he really smoked weed. He was like super smart and like.
Yeah, the dealer's usually the smart one.
But one day he just like, and most of the time they don't want you hanging at their house. Like it's like take your shit and go. But like me and him kind of hit it off like a little bond, and he ended up telling me about the drums and saying he had a drum set in the basement. And I'm like, dude, I've always wanted to play the drums. Like, and I had dabbled before, and so I would sit in his basement for hours for like that whole year.
And just get good.
And just tear up the drums. Dude, I'm not good. I'm not good.
Dude, what a good way to get like anything out of your system though.
It felt
you're
good.
just banging on shit.
You're just banging on, you're playing with a little rhythm, and like in those moments when I was playing that drum set, like nothing else in life would run through my mind.
Yeah. And you got to find those things in life, man.
Yeah.
That's what keeps us going.
Yeah, we need those moments to like we need those moments to like have that creative energy, let it manifest a little bit rather than, because life's so busy and life's so fast and we're moving so fast, and like we don't give ourselves enough time to be creative. So like in those moments, like you're just creating purely. It's pure creation because I was thinking of nothing else. Like what if I could go back and do it? I probably wish I wasn't under the influence, but at the same time, I'm glad I went through that in my life. Like I wouldn't, I don't regret anything I've done, but it was cool. It was a special moment to just be down in this dude. And I went to UW Oshkosh, so, and only for 1 year. I only made it 1 year, dude.
Okay. I was just gonna ask you more about, once we got off that topic, more about college, because Y'all are gonna learn about us over time, and we
Yeah, on our next episode, we're actually going to bring on Adam Vapner.
Adam Vapner's gonna be on this.
Adam, dude, he's a young entrepreneur, and he's getting ready to go to college, and just like a totally different outtake on how I looked at it. Like, he's not a partier, like he doesn't drink.
He's a good kid.
He's like a solid dude, and I like text, like he took care of our lawn and stuff, and I text this kid, I'm like, you're going places in life, like, man, you keep. So we're gonna have him on next episode,
and I can't wait because Adam's been in my life for a long time.
Dude, his dad
is incredible,
solid dude.
Yeah, and so between Adam and his brother Mason, they're both great kids.
It's kind of funny how like I have been meeting and learning and like meeting Adam, but not through you, even though you have this connection to him, how it kind of comes full circle. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I've never met him with you, but it's always been like I've met him out like doing the lawn care and at basketball games and stuff.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, super solid kid.
It's gonna be really cool to see what we talk about with him.
Yeah. Oh, so we're gonna have him on next episode, and I want to go back to that basement. So like, I went to UW-Oshkosh, and there's old houses there, like 120-year-old houses, and these foundations are built with rocks. There's no poured concrete walls. There isn't even bricks.
Yeah, fieldstone.
Yeah, it's literally fieldstone with
mortar,
crappy mortar. And so that's what I was playing. I'm playing in this basement. It's just me, the drum set, and these like 120-year-old fieldstone mortar walls. And it was, I kind of forgot about that part of my life until you just brought up like drum setting.
You're like kind of got in your back of your head like, is it gonna just start crumbling as I'm
playing? Like just doing it. It was like,
what a dungeon feel though.
It was dungeony, but there was nothing else. Like it added to the idea of losing myself while playing the drums because there was no other distraction.
Yeah, and that's
there was literally nothing else in this basement. Like just these old stone walls, me and the drum set. Like
I'm all about people being good at what they do.
Yeah,
and we talked about this on the last episode, but I tell you what, man, Theo Von,
dude, Theo Von's a good dude,
and everybody's got their thing, you know, and our thing is probably gonna pop out over time. Yours, mine, whatever.
Yep.
But like his off the cuff comedy that's like so raw and unscripted, but like it comes out so dry, but it's hilarious.
Yeah.
Like you're like, how did that even process that quick?
Right.
You know? But speaking so much truth through it all.
Yeah.
Where you're just like, this dude has been through some shit. He just is raw, man.
Yep.
But Theo Von, I'm a huge fan of Theo Von. My brother sends me a Theo Von video every day.
Theo Von's legit. We have a lot of good comedians coming out these days. Like a lot of just like brilliant like comedians that are just
like Matt Rife. And what?
Yes.
What were you gonna say?
No, Matt Rife. Yep.
Okay, because like what Matt Rife is so good at is crowd work,
right?
And he plays off of it. And what I've noticed about Matt Rife, so he'll be conversing with somebody in the crowd, right?
Yep.
So I think I'm speculating.
Yep, speculate.
But I think his strategy is he'll start conversing with somebody because he has to have time to. Like most comedians who are good, they are good because it's off the cuff, right?
Right.
But when he starts conversing with somebody in the audience, whatever the person in the audience says to him, he will repeat back.
And that'll cue his brain.
So I think it's, for one, letting the rest of the audience know what is going on.
Yep.
And for two, it gives them that little time to think of something witty. So he replays it.
Yes.
And then responds to it.
Yes.
So over time, I've watched a ton of his videos. I'm like, oh, that's probably what he's doing. It's genius because everybody thinks he's like so quick-witted, but he's giving himself that time.
Right. Which is very quick-witted of him.
It's genius.
Did you see his Netflix special?
What was that called?
I don't know.
Oh, it was a little controversial, wasn't it?
Well, everything he says is controversial.
Right. But there was like actual uproar about it.
So his Netflix special, he does no crowd work in it.
So that's interesting.
And kills it. And at the end of it, he goes, but I guess all I'm good, dude. The crowd is at this point 45 or 50 minutes in. Like this is they're rolling, dying. Anything he says at this point is pure gold, funny to them. You know,
Yeah,
he's got
yeah.
them so engaged.
Yep.
And he says, "But I guess all I'm good at is crowd work." And he drops the mic. He's
That's brilliant.
yes. Because that is how he got his start, was those short clips
And-
of him working the crowd, and he would,
And
I
the
mean,
masses
he would kill it.
Yeah, and the masses were proud. The critics and everything. It was like, oh, you can only do crowd work. You can do it.
You can only
Yeah.
do crowd work. You can only do crowd work, dude. So his Netflix special, he didn't do any crowd work. It was all. It started a little slow, in my opinion, but I hung in there because I knew what quality comedian, you know, the kind of quality
They're building it up.
that
Yeah.
he was.
Yeah.
And he smashes out of the park, and yeah, at the end, he basically mic drops it and says, "But I guess all I'm good at is crowd work." Hey, it was like, I'm like, thank you, Matt Rife, for doing that.
That was like, yep.
Yeah,
It's like the whole Post Malone thing. Like, no, I am not a one-hit wonder.
right.
And
Right.
My record has proved that.
And sometimes it's the haters that drive us.
Oh, 100%.
So you know what I mean? Like it's like, and we talked about talking about that in our last episode. We kind of talked about that. We were gonna touch on like friendly competition,
Yeah.
like not necessarily, but haters too. But like friendly competition, kind of like nipping at our heels.
Yeah.
That
Because it pushes everybody.
right. If we're not gonna, you know, if we're running faster, they're gonna have to run faster too, and they're gonna get better. We're gonna get better, and at any point, it reminds us like if we slow down at this, or we stop, or we start making too many mistakes, there's someone that's gonna take our spot.
The water can only be hot for one person at a time.
Explain that, because you had to explain it to me. I get it now, but explain it to our listeners.
Especially in older homes.
Yeah, yeah.
It's more related to
Or
that.
like it's like olden days. It's
Yeah.
related to where a family would share a bathwater.
Yeah, so like if you were in the kitchen running the hot water and somebody went in the bathroom to run the hot water, it takes it from the kitchen. And no. So it's like the water's only hot for the person that is using it. And the reference is that like only one person can be hot at a time. So you're talking about that friendly competition. It's like, okay, if there's two people doing this X, right? And this guy's really good at it. And this guy's, so he's got the hot water right now.
He's got the
And then this guy comes up. It's like, then he's got the hot water. And now this guy's like, oh shit, he upped his game. He's got the hot water.
Okay, I thought I knew what you meant, but
the water can
now
only be hot for one person at a time.
Okay, so what I just said was actually a little different.
But it's humbling.
So I understand what you're saying now.
Yeah.
I thought it was like the old days, like where you would share the bathwater, so the water's only hot for the first person, and by the time the second person gets in the bathtub, the water's no longer hot.
Right.
So it's like you got to get while the getting's good, kind of thing.
That's also
Or
great
make hay while
perspective.
the sun shines, kind
Yeah.
of thing. Or,
Exactly.
But I see what you're saying now,
Yeah.
kind of like who's going to be pulling that hot water to their side? Like it
Yep.
can't be hot for both. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's only hot until somebody else makes it hotter.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, no, I love friendly competition. We get, it seems like the last few years, like my business especially, and yours too, we always have that friendly competition.
Mm-hmm.
Like people, I don't know if it's people see our successes
Mm-hmm.
and kind of like see the life we're living and they're like, I want that. And I'm going to, so how did they do it? And we're pretty open about our journeys. So like they can see how we do it essentially. And so they're like, I'm going to copy that.
Mm-hmm.
Or if like that is their skill set too, and they just want to keep running. But there's a lot of healthy competition up here.
Yeah, and there's a lot of like, I think people are like inherently non-original.
Okay.
So, and that's just my opinion.
Yeah.
Opinions are
yeah.
like
Yeah.
that.
Everyone's got one and they all stink.
Yep. What puts you in your own league where you have no competition is your brand.
Oh, that's why you like the branding so much.
I would say that you are in your own league because of the brand you're making. And your brand is that you are the guy that does the work, the estimate, and you are prideful on 5-star reviews and 100% customer satisfaction.
My mind's blowing right now.
Tell me somebody else in your sector who is doing that.
My mind's blowing right now because when I came to you to wrap the boat last year, and it was like, and we had this conversation about how you really wanted to focus on branding. And like I supported you. I'm like, yeah, that's good. And deep down, I was having these feelings like, why is that his drive? I mean, his focus should be these raps, like, because no one else can do them like you do them. Like that would be, but it totally makes sense now. Like the branding is kind of like the, not the identity, but the reputation.
Mm-hmm. So,
And really, after we had that conversation, I'm thinking that, and really, I went out and branded myself then.
yeah.
Without even knowing
Yeah.
I was branding myself, but kind of doing it subconsciously from that conversation you and I had.
And A+ driveway grading and land clearing now is known whether people have done business with you or not,
Right.
because of the things you do under your brand, like your
Right.
recent veteran giveaway and all the
Yeah.
good you do in the community.
Yeah.
People now know your brand as giving back, taking care of the community, and
Yeah.
anybody that's been your customer knows your brand as he's the guy that shows up at every step of the process. He
Yeah.
does the work, and he doesn't leave the job or ask for payment until we are completely satisfied.
Yeah.
So that is your brand. Now, why that's so important is because there might be another driveway grading and excavation company
Sure.
here, but there's not another A+ driveway grading.
Ah.
So there might be another vinyl business or graphic business, but there's nobody that's always Tired Ink, and there's nobody that will be.
Okay.
So people buy into your brand.
Yeah.
I would say way before sometimes
They
before
buy
they
your
buy into your
product.
product.
Yeah. You know
Because
what?
it's like Always Tired Ink did that. Always Tired Ink did my rap.
Right.
I'm gonna call Always Tired Ink.
Oh, I got a real quick spin off of that, and then I want to come right back to this. What we're in the middle of right now. But I was at Beeforama, cooking beef at one of the tents, and we ended up winning first place. My beef did, yeah. Well,
Yeah. He's a good beef cooker.
it was a good beef cooker.
If he can cook beef
But
that good, I want to eat something your wife has made.
But I had that 4-wheeler there that you wrapped,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
and we're sitting next to it.
Yeah.
And at that time, I didn't have my registration sticker on.
Yep.
So you could see they always tired, which you can still see at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
But I put it there to not take away from that. But I had people from, dude, I think like 25,000 people come to Beeforama,
Mm-hmm.
and they walk past that and seen that, like people down south, dude, and stuff, and like them hearing about it before, and like, oh yeah, that guy, or what is this guy about? I'm like, dude, anything you can dream up. Like, there's a lot of people that rap stuff, and it's just raps they're buying online.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, no hate for that too. I mean, there's definitely a market for that.
Product market fit.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
but Always Tired Ink has that special like customization, like one-on-one, like work with the customer to come up with some crazy design or some neutral design or some classic design.
And here's like going back to like the whole branding.
Yeah, let's go
versus
back to that.
Building
Yeah,
a business thing is like, I'm very much an entrepreneur too.
yeah,
And like, as an entrepreneur, it's really hard swallowing the pill that I am the only person in the organization right now. But I am the organization right now.
I don't know what you mean by that.
Being that, like, as an entrepreneur, you're trying to work smarter, not harder, right? So you're trying to put people in place. You're trying to build systems building a corporate structure, you start with an individual, right?
Sure.
Then you build a system. Then
So
you
where
have
you could step away and that system
and you
will
have
run.
somebody manage that system and then delegate. So
Sure.
the idea as an entrepreneur is you're trying to build things that manifest or build, you're building an empire. So I can only do so much work in a day. I
Right.
can only output so much.
Sure.
So for growth wise, you would theoretically be, I need more personnel.
Sure.
So that's really tough for me right now. But
It's tough for you that you don't have those people.
that as an entrepreneur, I am putting all the work in instead of, because, and here's what I'm getting at with the whole branding.
Yeah,
and
let's
business
bring it
thing,
around and then come back.
is that as an artist, as an entrepreneur, you want to build a business, a legacy that one day you can sell. And that's
Sure.
the idea as an entrepreneur. Like, can I build a business that operates, that runs good, that makes money, that feeds all the people in the organization, that can grow, that can scale? Are my systems good enough to build so that they can be scaled and replicated? As an artist, how do you like, say I die, how does that live on? Because I'm the artist, right? There's nobody that can be me. There's
Right.
nobody that can
Right.
have my vision. There's
Right.
nobody that can create the way I create.
Right.
But if I create a brand, Always Tired Inc., that can live on. That can be a
Okay.
legacy. That could
Okay.
be sold. That could be something I could be stepped away from. Think
Okay.
about, like any kind of brand. Nike, for example, or just because it's a name everybody would know.
Right.
That's a brand that somebody could come in and go, I want to buy that.
Right. And
because
it
that
would
has a
keep
name.
running. Right.
Yeah. And all my vision, it would have still been there. And
Right.
can be played off of. And there'd be, another creative director.
Right.
I mean, Louis Vuitton is a very famous brand.
Yep.
And I'm losing the name of the previous creative director, but
They always have new artists. coming in.
Pharrell
Yeah.
is now the creative director for Louis Vuitton. And there's been a significant shift in the marketing and the branding and the way it looks, but it's still authentic Louis Vuitton.
Right.
So you still know it immediately when you see it, but it has this
Yeah.
new twist of this new creative director.
Okay.
So my idea with trying to build my business on a local level and build a brand is that, like, I can't sell me one day, but I could sell a brand.
Sure.
And that's the
Okay.
entrepreneur in me.
Okay.
Getting
Okay.
comfy? Did the
Yeah.
shoes just come off?
No, dude, my shoes have been off.
Oh, okay, mine are just coming off at halftime here.
I've been dialed in, dude.
Oh, dude.
Are we at halftime?
I have no idea.
We
I
haven't
forgot to
even
set the
timing.
timer. But anyways, so yeah, we got kind of deep dive in there.
Yeah.
but
No. That's.
I'm
an
feeling
int-
good. I could use a fucking donut or something. I'll tell you that. Like,
Hey, quick trip.
dude, give me one of them damn pudding cups.
Give them pudding cups.
Yeah.
See, you didn't forget, dude.
No.
The pudding cup.
Oreo
I'm telling
pudding
you.
cup.
Oreo
Dude,
pudding cup.
So my lovely girlfriend and I listened to that whole podcast last night when I got home. 'Cause
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, all right. I'm just like, you were probably itching, right? And yes, we are recording these 2 days in a row, folks.
Dude, people are itching.
I
We
know.
already have 200 followers.
And we haven't done
and
nothing.
nobody has a video yet.
Dude, this guy could fart on a book and sell 1 million copies. Like,
People love us. Because it goes back to that branding.
Yeah.
But keep going. I want to get back to branding a little more, but I want to hear
'Cause
about you and your
yeah.
lovely lady tonight, or last night.
Oh,
Listening to the
I don't
podcast.
know how deep you want to know about it, but
I want to know everything.
everything. It was dark.
You closed your eyes.
Yeah,
And, it was just
and
you
I was
her.
like, it was just me and her. But we listened to the whole thing through, and she goes, when you're talking about the Oreo cup, because
Yeah.
you called it like a pudding cup or whatever.
Yep.
She's like, isn't that just a worm dirt or whatever? As a kid,
what is it called? A dirt cup.
dirt cup. Yeah, she's
Dirt
like,
cup.
Is he just talking about a dirt cup? And I'm like, yeah, I guess he's talking the quickery
It's
terms.
the Quickery's dirt cup. It's
Pudding cup.
it's a better dirt cup because you get layer of Oreo.
I will argue. Does it have gummy worms in it?
It does not. But I never liked the gummy worm contrast.
Yeah.
I like.
So they kind of go stale almost.
Well, it's a different sweet for me.
Yeah.
Like my sweet category is not just everything sweet is in one category. No.
It's like vanilla and chocolatey stuff, and then sugary stuff, candy stuff.
Well, like like sweet
Yeah.
or like super sweet or like candy is in its own. Like I would never like worms on that. They're totally contrasting.
I definitely didn't smell feet until I took my shoes off, so I apologize.
Mine. I smell my own feet. Too,
Okay,
yeah.
I don't smell yours.
We're hardworking guys.
We're hardworking gentlemen.
Yeah. So the branding. So it's actually funny. So after we had that conversation about, I'm thinking like, why is this guy trying to brand like why people are coming to him is for these wraps. I mean, because he can customize them, and he's the only one up here that can do that, and he's the only one in the world that's him with those designs. And then subconsciously I started branding myself. I think I was already kind of doing it, but I start, like you said, building the brand. I don't know, I have a little different perspective on the growth thing. The numbers I did last year, I would be comfortable if I maintained those numbers and if I didn't get any employees. So it's a little different
Right.
perspective. Like I never like
And dude, don't get me wrong. Like I'm making a hell of a living
yeah.
by myself.
No, but you have your perspective on the entrepreneurial trajectory
Yes.
is a little different than mine.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And I love that we have
Because
different
your
ideas.
idea is to brand, build, branch, sell,
Yes. Scale sell. Yeah.
scale, sell,
Yeah.
not branch, yeah, scale, sell.
Yeah.
And my idea for what I have going on right now for A plus is just kind of like I went through the building phase and the branding phase, and now I just want to maintain where I'm at because it's enough. And this could change, this could change with people that we're going to meet, and you're always meeting new people, and I might find something, but my philosophy is like, and you too, so like always tired ink. Like right now, if I bring something here, I know it's going to be wrapped very, like I don't even have to nitpick it anymore because I know how it's going to be wrapped. If I brought something here right now and you took my check and then there was someone else at the wrapping, wrapping it, I would be like,
Exactly.
I don't want someone else wrapping my shit.
Exactly. So now let's go back to my conversation.
Okay.
I want to be the only person to wrap people's stuff. So if I can build a brand on the backside where I can have a factory full of people making my stuff, making content, editing my videos,
Okay.
I can still be doing the work.
Okay.
I want to build a foundation under me that's like, this guy's building a brand. If you're lucky enough to be his customer, because there's going to be a point in time where it's like, I cannot take another customer.
It's almost like you're getting to that point now.
Yeah.
I mean, you got a lot of customers.
But on a local basis, like I don't want to do wraps worldwide, but I
Right.
want to see my brand worldwide.
Yeah.
And like locally, there's enough work here for me.
Yeah.
And I am in with all of the local businesses and local people who are into cool stuff and having their stuff wrapped.
Yeah.
It's like, I want to continue to be that guy for you.
Yeah.
But I'm building a brand in the back the whole time.
Okay.
And I think I even told you that the first time, like, you're like, don't hire employees. I'm like, dude, if I hired anybody,
Yeah, that was part of
would
that
be
conversation.
It would be a factory. It wouldn't
Yeah.
be people wrapping stuff. And then you're paying for Always Tired Ink to do your wrap.
Right.
Like,
And
you're
then
not
it's-
just like,
and then
oh,
it's-
that guy does wraps.
And then it's name your price.
Yeah.
Because it's if you want an Always Tired Ink wrap, get out your checkbook. I mean,
So now, and I think we talked about Troy Lee Designs, but Troy Lee was an artist, and he, back in the day, would paint motocross helmets. And he
Okay.
started his brand by painting motocross helmets.
okay.
Okay, so track with me. He would paint motocross helmets, sell them, whatever. He was building a brand at the same time. He did the work, right?
Okay.
The brand became Troy Lee Designs. Now, Troy Lee Designs makes motocross gear.
Okay.
It's called Troy Lee Designs. Motocross pants, jackets, helmets, gloves that have all of his designs on them on a scale.
Okay.
So he's the only one doing it.
Yeah.
I don't know if Troy Lee is still alive or if he paints helmets anymore, but the basis of that is he created this art that he then replicated to the world.
Right. And branded.
In a way.
But he could always be creating more new art.
Exactly.
To keep, yeah.
So now you go back to that whole thing. It's like, yes, I'm creating all these wraps and stuff, but from a graphic perspective, from a visual perspective, from a branding perspective, I can take that and go, I already made this once. Why can't I sell it 1,000,000 times?
That's what I was just going to say.
And
like,
not even like selling wraps online, because I don't need to do that. But
well, that's what I was saying. Why wouldn't that be something you tapped into?
and it might be someday. Maybe that's the route I take. But and that's the brand, you know what I mean? But for right now, like, I just want to build a brand that just represents like working hard, putting in the time, and being tired. Like, the idea behind Always Tired Ink is hustle never sleeps. And I'm not saying that you need to wear yourself down to the point where you're unhealthy because you didn't
Right.
sleep.
Right.
My point is that if you want something bad enough in life, you got to be tired to get it.
Yeah.
You have to go after
Yeah.
it. You have to make sacrifices. That's
Yeah.
the idea. It's not like I'm moping around. I'm just, I'm tired. And I'm sure some people think that about my brand vision. But when you walk in here, you know damn well that's not what I mean.
Right.
Because it's like, this guy is tired because he's fucking doing it.
Right.
And
yeah.
that's the point. And that's what I want That's what I want it to be for people.
Right.
And I want it to be a reflection of those people. And I want people to be able to represent that through my brand and go, that's who I am. That's who I want to be. That's where I'm going. I will sacrifice. I will be tired for what I'm trying to get done.
Yeah. Well, and similarly, I pride myself on, I'm in the summertime, I'm up at 4:30 and I'm out of my house at 5:30, and I start working on that job at 6:30, and it's like, or sometimes even earlier, and it's like, I put in the 14-hour days and the 15-hour days, and that's what you mean. And
If
then
you
some
want
days
it, you
I
gotta
need a
get it.
rest. Yeah, if you want it, you got to be doing
Yeah,
that
and
stuff.
I'm not saying don't take care of yourself. You're number
Right.
one. If the
Absolutely.
machine's not tuned, you can't produce.
Exactly. Yep.
So that's not the point. The point
Well,
is
why-
like the sacrifice.
Yeah, but okay, so going back to so you've designed a wrap for a sled. Why wouldn't you sell that for part of your branding?
It's a good question.
Because
I could.
yeah, but you said I'm not. You said I don't need to do that, and it's like, well, I think that's what you're going for. Would be
Right.
I mean, you would 100% be selling those wraps.
I guess like from the branding perspective, I see Always Tired being more, wearables. Like the
Okay.
actual brand. Interesting though, like I've very much considered, like, because I make a lot of cool wraps, like just the one on your 4-wheeler or both of your 4-wheelers.
Yeah.
Those could have been sold 1,000 times over,
Right.
Online.
And why would
self install?
I think
And that's absolutely somewhere that I could go with it, and I've considered.
Yeah, I think don't limit where your brand's going to go.
Exactly.
Because if you have that mind space that you want Always Tired to be wearables, but the market and the people and the destiny has it being wraps, or who knows what,
here's
or
what-
art wall pieces. I don't know.
I guess I was talking more just to differentiate between what I did daily and what I see the brand doing, which what I do daily could be replicated for the brand. For my motto, and it's on stickers, you've probably seen it before, but it's fuck with everything. And the idea behind fuck with everything is everything you have, in my opinion, and what I do is I fuck with everything. You know it's mine. Like if you see something, you know it's mine immediately because I fucked with it some way.
Yeah.
Like you look down there, like every ladder, every broom, every dustpan, every cart has Always Tired ink on it.
Yeah.
So on a very small scale, that's my idea of fuck with everything. So then you look over there at that truck. I could have left that the way it was when I bought it.
Right.
But now you know that's mine. 'Cause
Right.
I fucked with it.
Right.
And it's like, that's the idea, is like, just, you gotta be to like expression and everything. You gotta leave your mark. My idea of fuck with everything is make it your own, something you can be proud of, something that reflects you. And I think the vision of building the brand would be that so others could feel like they fucked with everything, maybe through me, if it's a wrap.
Yeah.
So like if it's basically producing things that you can fuck with your own stuff with my twist.
Yeah.
But no two people are going to buy this. Like if this guy's got a sled and this guy's got a sled, and he's never going to buy the same wrap this guy wants to buy, and he's never going to buy the same merch this guy wants to buy from my site. So no two people are probably going to ever end up the same. If there's enough wraps, if there's enough merch, if there's enough diversification, you're fucking with your own stuff in your own way, a reflection of what I've made. So the brand idea is like, can we just like create a bunch of stuff that people can feel like they're individual
Okay.
through me?
Okay.
And who knows how that'll actually develop. This is spitballing, but I make a lot of like even custom one-off merch. I mean, like I did the auction. I haven't done one in a while because I've been so busy, but
Right.
like I would do these auctions on my Snapchat where
Yep.
I would just start drawing and writing on shirts and cowboy hats and like get people's feedback. So I'm a creator who like, I could sit down and just create something out of thin air, but I could also take an insane amount of feedback and inspiration while I'm creating and utilize that to like inspire and direct where it's going.
Okay.
So the first shirt I made, there was like 38 people who gave me feedback and interacted with me making this one shirt. So yes, like I was the medium of producing that shirt, but how many people were involved to inspire that?
Right.
It's
And-
like a reflection of everybody, not just me.
Right. And so what you're saying is you wouldn't want to take that shirt then and sell that and reproduce that shirt again to sell to multiple people. You would want every shirt to be different.
No. But that's a good point too. But I guess what I'm getting at is that like I've been so much in the mode of just like throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks.
Okay.
And also just like somewhat having a plan, but like not really at the same time.
Yeah.
Like I know I want to build a brand and I know I'm doing vinyl,
Yeah.
but how that develops over time is going to be up to the feedback and the inspiration
Yeah.
and like where it actually ends up going.
Right. And that's kind of the heart of this podcast.
Exactly.
Is going to be totally that same.
Manifest and like
Yeah.
point and shoot, you
Yep.
know, but like don't. You can change the plan, but this is my philosophy. You can change the plan, but you can't change the goal. My goal is to build a brand. I can change the plan a million times how to get there. But I'm not going to change that goal.
Right.
So even just your feedback now of like, well, why can't you reproduce your raps? It's like, well, yeah, I've kind of considered that, but I haven't put it in the forefront of my mind enough to do it.
Well, to me, yeah, because when I hear the goal of branding and how important branding is, it's like, that's what branding is. Like, and you could sell 1,000 of those snowmobile wraps to people and they wouldn't, chances of them seeing each other with that wrap, very slim.
Right.
Because there's hundreds of thousands of snowmobiles. So like you could make that uniquely their own.
Right.
And they're where they live. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it would be part of your branding plan. Like, I think that could be, I mean, that's towards your goal.
Dude, what's so interesting though is like like I've sent Always Terrored Ink decals to every state except Delaware, and
wait a minute. So when you came on the update, there was 2 states that had never bought your sticker, wasn't there? New York it's
just Delaware. New York's my biggest fan base.
Oh, New York's your biggest. I thought
Shout
there
out
was
New
2.
York.
I thought it was like was it Washington?
No, I've sent them.
Okay, so still just no Delaware.
Yeah.
Okay.
And dude, like the messages, the Snapchats, the stuff I get from people is so out of this world, man. Like it's such a weird feeling. So like I don't even know these people, but it feels like I do because I communicate with some of them quite a bit. Like there's a bunch of different Always Terrored Ink chat groups in Snapchat. Like there's one for just New York, there's one for just for Wyoming, there's one for just Tennessee. Like
okay.
So like there's all these different guys in there talking about them, right? And then this one day this guy Snapchats me a picture of a truck with my stickers on it. And he's like, "Dude, I just spotted your decals." And I'm like, "No kidding, you don't know that guy?" He's like, "No, I have no idea who that guy is." I'm like, "Well, where are you?" And he's like, "I'm in Rochester, New York." I'm like, "I have no idea who this guy is, let alone who he took a picture of the truck, and he doesn't know who that guy is."
Sure.
It's like, dude, that is out there. And then Dylan, our buddy Dylan, was in Wyoming.
Yep.
He's video Snapchatting me, right? As he's recording this video, talking to me, because we were going back and forth conversing about something. Somebody Snapchats me, who I have no idea who they are, in Wyoming, saying they spotted my decals, and it was a picture of Dylan's truck. I get his Snapchat, see this, literally 10 seconds later, I get Dylan's Snapchat, and I Snapchat him back, and I'm like, "Dylan, somebody was literally taking a picture of your truck and telling me they spotted my decals as you're sending me this video." Like, how out there is that?
So that's branding.
Yeah, that's you just got to get, that's what my idea of branding is, like, just get it out there. And like, dude, and you got to be like, I just give so much stuff away. And it's
Yeah.
not as much anymore because I've really started to build a brand where people are just like, no, dude, I'll just pay for it, like whatever
Right.
it costs. But to get to that point, like, dude, hundreds of shirts that I've made, hundreds of decals. I mean, I've given so much away to build that, like, just even recognition of the name
Sure.
or whatever. But I don't know, man. Kind of went off on a tangent, but like that's
No,
wicked stuff, man.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, dude, I don't even know these people, and it's like
that's branding working.
people will call me and be like, dude, I'm in Appleton. I just passed some guy with your decal in this big white truck or whatever. I'm like, I have no idea who that is. It's like,
That's awesome.
what the hell?
How many do you keep count of how many? Excuse me. Of how many of one decal you've sold in total? Like the bunny with the sword. Do you know how many of those you've sold?
In total? No. I wish I had kept better track. When I first started selling them, my buddy Slim Shady put one on his truck, and he was making videos, and he's got quite a following, and people are like, where'd you get that? I want one, whatever. And you just be like, message Always Tired Ink on Instagram. So like dude, it was so annoying that it was to the point where I would just tell them, send me your shipping address, and I was even paying for shipping just because, like, coordinating, like, send me payment here for this and shipping, and then blah blah blah. I would just be like, send me your shipping address, and I was just paying for shipping labels forever because I'm like,
and you were just sending them out.
Yeah, and I was just sending them out, and then I'm like, all right, well, maybe I should. So then I put up a website, which the website definitely tracks it, but there was so many in between there, just like randomly sent, that I couldn't track it that well. And then so now I sell them on TikTok. I mean, I'm almost at 200 on the bunny sword one. But I mean,
what do you mean 200
that I've sold on TikTok since I started the TikTok shop, because it like counts them.
Okay.
But like I would say I'm well over 1,000 of those.
Yeah.
And like,
awesome.
that's not I mean, there's 300 million people in America,
right?
So like I'm like hardly even like a drop in the ocean. But
it's got to start somewhere.
That's where it starts, right? Because like, dude, I remember getting like, oh my god, I sent it to 10 different states already. Like, I'm never gonna send it to all 50. Like, dude, now I've just been waiting for Delaware for the last 3 years.
Delaware, let's go.
Also, you know, that's not like, yes, the design and everything I created and whatever, but that's still, it's not my brand. It got famous because of the design, I guess, but
it still says Always Tired
right.
Ink on it.
I think some people get that confused. They think that's my logo, though. It was, when more or less it's just a design that I came up with.
Well, I think when you talk with Slim Shady, I think if you come out with another like badass like skeleton musky sword with Always Tired Ink, I think that something else that'll hit just as big as the bunny and the sword, then people will know. Because they're going to notice the similarity, which is the Always Tired Ink. So sword. At that point, they would know
and I started the snake sword recently, and that's like slowly starting to get its own traction. So it's like there's going to be these like different avenues.
Yeah.
So like the dead snake is, you know, there's the dead bunny, the dead snake, the dead, you know, muskie.
Okay.
You know? So I want to kind of like do this over time.
Okay.
But I don't know, man. I just like to have fun, and
yeah.
I'm just fucking around. Like, you know, I hope people enjoy listening to us just like talk shit, but I'm no different than anybody else, and I'm learning every day, and I will learn every day till the day I die, and I probably say some stuff that doesn't make sense, and I'm still trying to dude, you can make here's the like, you can change the plan, you can't change the goal. And I'm such a firm believer in that, because, dude, I'll have a plan, and I remember this years ago, because I don't do it quite as much anymore, but I would have a 3-year plan and be like, yeah, this is what I'm doing, this is where I'm going, this is how I'm doing it, whatever. And it'll be like 3 days in, and I'll be like, I got to throw that whole fucking plan
and then
out
God
the
laughs. Yeah, man plan, God's laugh.
Yeah,
like,
so whatever
God
I
laughs.
say, whatever I don't consider, it's like tomorrow I'm going to consider it, because you know, you just don't know what's going to happen, what turns are going to take. And you just got to be grateful every day that you just still have a day.
Yep.
And like, planning too far ahead makes you forget why you're here and that you're actually still here.
And then you lose kind of that in the moment thing.
Yeah. And like, just be humble and kind. That's important. Yeah. Always be humble and kind.
I love that song. That's a country song. Always be humble.
It's like my favorite song of all time by Tim McGraw.
Seriously?
Yeah. Dude,
man.
that Iris by the Goo Goo Dolls,
Yeah.
The Gambler by Kenny Rogers,
Yes.
Rockstar by Post
know
Malone.
and hold
Yep,
'em.
those are top 4.
Yes.
I always said if I wrote a book, and I'm about to ask you a question. I always said if I wrote a book, I would write a book about my interpretation of The Gambler by Kenny Rogers.
Okay.
Because there's so many ways it can be taken.
Yeah.
And like actually trying to visualize what he was really trying to say when he wrote that.
Like at face value, it's about poker.
Yeah, but it's not.
But it's
so much deeper.
But if
and I could write a whole book on how I feel about it because
Right.
I just love it.
Yeah.
I mean, it was so unique and clever. But if you could write a book, what would it be about? I'm not even going to assume because I don't assume anything. But
that's a really good question.
do you think you'll ever write a book? Have you ever had that idea of like, I want to write a book someday?
So actually, like in my teenage years, I'm not going to answer that question today. I'll answer that question on another podcast.
Okay, awesome.
But I will tell you that through my teenage years, I would get these like poems and short stories in my head that I couldn't get out, and I would write them down.
Yeah.
And my plan was to always someday accumulate them and finish the stories into a book.
Wow.
So I guess I could say, and somewhere I still have those. They're on folded up pieces of paper. And so, absolutely, I think I would write a book, but kind of what that book would be about, I think has yet to be determined.
Yeah, yet to be determined. We're probably pulling up on an hour.
Yeah, so next episode we'll talk a little bit about, more about kind of like a book that we would write at this stage in our life. And I think if you ask me that question every 5 years, the beautiful thing is I think it'd be a different book.
Yeah. Change the plan, never change the goal.
That's right. That's right.
And
yes.
that's probably what we're going to title this video. Change the plan, but never change the goal.
But never change the goal.
And I think every video we do, there's going to be like one raw lesson. So I think it's a beautiful thing. I think our logo is beautiful. I think our setup's beautiful. You're a beautiful man.
You're a beautiful man.
Our artwork is beautiful.
This is going to get only better, like I said, when we start getting feedback that we can actively respond to on the podcast.
Yeah, it's only really boring because y'all haven't given us feedback.
Yeah, because we need to really get everyone involved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you guys suck. We didn't make it through the first 5 minutes. All right, let's work on that. Let's start there. Let's see if we can get anybody to listen to the whole video.
Yeah, keep hanging with us. Like we said in the first podcast, we kind of talked about, we're going to be touching on everything. Yeah. And there's really nothing out of bounds. Our Gmail is officially set up. So
yeah, so our Gmail account is thetube outreach at gmail.com. TheTube, TheToob, and that's our hotline.
Yep.
For sure, if you're struggling with anything and you need somebody to talk to, we will
hit that hotline.
But also topics and feedback. That's our feedback loop. If you want to give us negative comments, if you want to give us positive comments, if you just want to say you guys are fucking cool.
Yep. And you can do that on our Facebook page as well. You can give those feedback.
Yeah.
So comment. Email, Facebook page, or on even our YouTube, right?
Yep. Which is The Tube at The Tube. It's called The Tube, but the handle is The Tube.
Got it.
I don't know why, but it is.
Well, that's it. Hit our outro song, baby. Thanks, guys, for joining us. See, it needs that. We both agree it needs that.